This holiday weekend kicks off the traditional start of the summer grilling season. Many people firing up their barbecues will turn to cookbooks, including those of Stephen Raichlen. His newest collection of recipes is called Man-Made Meals, the Essential Cookbook for Guys. Contributor Jamie Wax got an inside look at his keys for cooking. Jamie, good morning.
Good morning, Nora. Stephen Raichlen has been dubbed the country's master griller by Esquire Magazine. His barbecue books have sold more than 5 million copies worldwide. But his latest publication is one where Raichlen is telling men it's important to also move the cooking party indoors.
This is the most primal way, the most manly way there is to cook a steak. On the fire, you see the blood.
Stephen Raichlen has been teaching men to cook outside on the open flame for years.
I find that meat cooked on the bone always has the most flavor.
But now he has a new mission.
Cooking is one of the rare things you can do in life that is both good for you and fun. You lay that in beautifully.
To bring the heat inside and improve what he calls the culinary literacy of men across the country.
Are we really culinary illiterates?
I think more men are cooking in America now than probably in our entire history. But I think there are huge gaps in our knowledge.
The classically trained food expert turned best-selling author has just put out his 29th cookbook, titled Man-Made Meals. It's a guide filled with recipes, tips, and techniques that go beyond the barbecue.
The most challenging category of food for guys is vegetables.
He says it's now time for men to know as much about steaming and sautéing as they do about grilling.
I think that there's a certain set of basic skills that every guy should know how to do. Every guy should know how to roast a turkey or fry a turkey. I think every man should know how to handle a knife, how to sharpen a knife, use a knife, care for a knife.
Raichlen has spent much of his life developing those skills around the globe, training in classical cooking in France, and researching and reporting on culinary trends around the world. Every summer, he teaches a course at the Broadmoor Institute in Colorado Springs called Barbecue University.
When you teach these men to cook in the kitchen, what is the biggest surprise they have?
Well, I think that, oh, so that's how you do it. So that's how you shuck an oyster. So that's how you know what a lobster is cooked. You know, there's kind of a funny thing about guy cooking. We like stuff that's really simple, like a steak, and then we like stuff that's really complicated, like a barbecue sauce or like chili.
Have you watched men's lives change learning these skills?
Absolutely. The joy, the pleasure, the involvement.
Raichlen believes that learning to prepare a meal is a recipe for success, no matter how you slice it.
We can go out and I'll show you how to make a dirty steak on the coals. I think for me it really boils down to this act of feeding somebody else. It's really what makes us human.
So if you had one thing to say to a guy who just doesn't have any enthusiasm for cooking, what would that be?
The best way to eat well is to cook well. Just start, no matter how simple, just do it.
Raichlen points out that there are more women than ever in the workplace, but only 13% of men serve as the primary family cooks. He says sharing that responsibility is the only way the next generation of kids will learn the importance of a home-cooked meal.
When was the last time you cooked a meal?
You know, my wife and I really share the cooking 50-50. She's a fantastic cook, and I love to cook. It's just a creative outlet.
So what's the most important thing you learned from his book?
He said the single most important thing is a hot pan. Start with a hot pan, and that's what many people don't do.
Yeah, very good.
I would like to know when's the last time you cooked a meal.
I'll tell you, Sunday.
Sunday. All right, take that.
What about you, Gail?
I was in my apartment for 3 months before I realized the oven didn't work.
No, not only that.
I'm not the right person.
Not only that, but that's the one thing I insist I make the pan hot before.
All right, Charlie Rose. He's a Renaissance man.
That's right.
He said Sunday and did not stutter. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you.